Please welcome to the Elevate stage, Alyssa Engdahl.
Hey everybody, are you guys excited for Elevate Daytona tonight? All right, so am I. One thing that I really love about Elevate is that it takes all different types of people. Some of us are a little bit more reserved, while others are actually behind the microphone for their full-time job. But I can tell you one thing, that we are all extremely excited to show you what we have been preparing for weeks now. And I also want to take a time right now to thank you for spending this evening with us. We know that you guys could be doing a lot of different things, but instead you wanted to support your family and friends, and for that, we really are gracious and appreciate you. And we also want to say thank you to Leadership Daytona Alumni Council. Without them, this isn't possible as well. So without further ado, let's get started. My name is Alyssa Engdahl. You might recognize me as the on-field MC for the Daytona Tortugas baseball team, or live on air here in Daytona Beach on 103.3 The Morning Vibe with DJ Tremble. And if you listen weekday mornings, chances are you probably already know that I love candies, sweets, pastries, and all that really good stuff. And so today I want to share with you a recipe of the sweetest thing that I think that I've mastered so far in my life, and that's my own personal happiness. This is a recipe that I learned years ago. It rocked my world, shook my whole perspective of everything. It was kind of like a kid drinking a soft drink for the very first time. And before we get into this metaphorical, delicious recipe, I want to share with you right now that it is the whole reason why I'm standing before you today in Florida and not Connecticut. Let me take you back 2 years ago to November of 2022. This is when I quit my job. I was hosting my own morning show in my own hometown, and I had the whole studio to myself. Things were great for years, but then after a while, I started to not feel valued, and I wasn't really happy anymore. So I needed to make a change, but radio is the only full-time job that I've ever known, and I had nothing lined up once I quit. But here's the thing, I knew that I was gonna be okay, and I was. I was hired over 1,000 miles away just 6 weeks after I quit my job because of a secret recipe that I had and nobody else knew called No Zero Days. So what is No Zero Days? It's when after you leave this room tonight, not a single day will go by that you don't do at least one thing to bring yourself closer to your goal. And the key here to notice is that one thing is not zero. So keep that in mind. And figure out what you want your goal to be. Maybe you want to write a sentence. So start by just writing one every day. Maybe you want to get a little bit healthier. So just do one sit-up every day. And maybe you want to be a little bit happier. So do one extra thing that's going to bring a smile to your face each day, just as I have. Because it's not the chocolate cream pie, but it's the recipe and how it's made. And I can't wait to show you a tangible example of how I make it right at the end of my presentation. But let's get through the ingredients, starting with the crust. I have a big question for you. Are you a procrastinator? Yeah, well, human nature says we all procrastinate, so it's okay, don't worry. Sometimes the recipe can be difficult to follow because one of the key ingredients is consistency. But let me tell you this. Once you master consistency, you unlock a superpower. This is something that's going to set you apart, and it doesn't take any physical strength or heavy mental exercise. Now, I know in life there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days, but consistency is essential. Have you ever read Tortoise and the Hare? You know how that worked out, right? Consistency really is super key, and you have to keep that in mind. Play the long game here. Achieving your goal also doesn't always mean pushing yourself to your limit. You don't have to be doing this big old thing every day. And there always doesn't have to be a hero day for every 0 day. You can do a little bit in the middle without punishing yourself. And that right there is no 0 days. So just do one thing. And speaking of the middle, we're gonna get to the next ingredient, which is typically chocolate, right, in a chocolate cream pie. But today I'm replacing it with something equally as tasty, and that's self-love. And oh boy, is this super important. Like, this is a key ingredient. I really can't stress this enough. Make sure to remove at least one negative self-thought from your mind every day, even if it's just one. Because you could be thinking something beautiful, something unique, something that's imaginative and yours, but instead you choose negativity? Why would you do that? Now finally, let's get to the whipped topping. Super delicious, love that. It's the 3 U's. Alyssa, what are the 3 U's? Well, this is easy. It's the past you, it's the present you, and it's the future you. And what you're gonna do is sprinkle these on top of the pie, thanking your past self for getting you to where you are, praising the current you for being you, and make the recipe taste sweeter by doing favors for the future self, just like you would a friend, continuing this awesome cycle of positivity and keeping you going with that consistency. This is the whipped topping. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is impossible to keep up every day, right? What happens if you skip a day? It's definitely gonna happen. Well, don't worry, remember the self-love and that no negativity. You really gotta make sure that you just stick to it. Don't worry so much, Gordon Ramsay. This is just you testing out your recipe. Forgive yourself, begin anew tomorrow. Now, this is super crucial as well. Your pie can't be complete until you've reached your goal. So make sure to savor every last bite. You just made that pie with consistency, hard work, and self-love, so you need to savor every last bite, just as I always have. And like I said, I've used this recipe many times before, not only for my own personal happiness, but also, you should know, ima skoshi nihongo ga hanashimasu, because of this way of life. And also, you should know that the dress that I'm wearing right now here on stage was hand-stitched by me ever since the day I knew I needed an outfit for Elevate. So I hope that you now see that we're all so capable and we all have the ingredients in our cabinets for my grand recipe. It's called No 0 Days. Just remember, 1 is better than 0. Thank you.